Hey guys, I am coming at you today with a topic. If you're listening to the podcast, you might have heard it. We're talking about choices. All right, so choices. When I say choices, I don't mean what should I wear today? What should I eat today? Should I wear my hair up? Should I wear my hair down? Should I wear shorts? Should I wear pants? And I don't even mean like serious choices. Like, should I date him? Should I break up with him? Should I tell him this thing that happened? Should I sleep with him? Should I try to have sex with her? None of that stuff. I'm talking about real choices in your life for what you stand for. Like choosing to stand for something, choosing your values, choosing who you want to be. Choices. And I think a lot of us don't realize that we have choices in who we want to be. I think a lot of us just kind of are like, hey, here I am, this is me. And that's actually not the case. Like, you can choose to have certain attitudes, you can choose to believe certain things, you can choose to act a certain way, you can choose a lot of things, which we don't like to think about. We don't like to think about having that kind of control over our lives. And instead, we let everybody else choose everything for us. So, even some of the patterns and behaviors that you learn through childhood and you don't realize it if you act a certain way. For example, for me, I always, whenever there's problems in my childhood with people, anything, my mom would always say, never let him see you sweat. Never let him see you sweat. Never let him see you sweat. And I never let them see me sweat. I never let anybody see me sweat. I didn't let anything affect my outer visage. I didn't let anything seem like it bothered me. I would, like a wounded animal, go cry in my bed and then come out and be like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. And there was nothing wrong with, that's how she was, that's how she is. Or that's how she was. She's not so much like that now, but that's how she was. And that's how I was, because she helped me figure out how to deal with my issues. So when I got a little bit older, and by a little bit older, I mean now, like 2 years ago, I was still never letting anyone see me sweat. And that I took it to an extreme, whereas my mom was really balanced in a lot of things, I wasn't. So I took everything to extreme of, not only do I never let anybody see me sweat emotionally, I don't let anybody think that I don't know what I'm doing. I don't let it ever seem like I'm not on my A game. I don't look like I'm cracking anywhere. So anytime anybody would see me or talk to me, or, I just always looked like I had my stuff together. And I alluded to it last week, it's a very hard pace to keep up, right? And I'm saying choices this week because it's building on your self-worth. When you're building your self-worth, you're choosing who you want to be. That version of me was a very insecure, not emotionally available, I won't say shallow, but not a very in tune with her emotional self, type emotionally shallow, I guess. Because I just never sat in my feelings. I never was like, wow, I'm upset. Why am I upset? Like, what triggered me? Like, why do I feel that way? Right? I never did. I just didn't do anything. I just kind of pretended like I didn't feel anything. So, that's obviously not very helpful to your growth, your self-worth. So you get to choose who you want to be. So after everything happened with me, which we'll get into some other time if you don't already know about it, I had this really awesome opportunity to completely, I was at the ground level, like less than zero. And it was a great breaking down process, and it was a breaking down of my old self and a real rebirth of my new self. And you hear all about like caterpillars and butterflies and cocoons and, metamorphoses and all these things. And that's true. You do kind of go through that process, and you can choose, and you've seen this before, this isn't anything new. You can choose to let it make you better, or you can choose to let it make you bitter. That's kind of what ends up happening. So I could have very easily, and I kind of wanted to be the victim of the situation. I did, in a lot of ways. And in a lot of ways, I felt like things weren't fair and this wasn't right. And, it wasn't the whole story and all these things. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter, right? Accountability is a whole conversation we'll have next week, giving it away. Accountability is next topic. But with the whole thing is I had to sit in the choices that I made. And those were like terribly detrimental choices that I would never make now, but I made them then. So here is the thing. I'm not talking about those choices even. Not even the choices that get us into trouble. I'm talking about the choices when we are in a difficult time and we need to choose to be resilient, or we need to choose, or we can choose to be miserable. Those are the choices I'm talking about. Choices, fundamental choices that make you or break you. And, do you use the experience for good, or do you use it to be a victim, to be a poor me? Like, oh, what was my life? And I am saying choose life, right? I put before you this day, life and death, choose life. And it's not talking about like literal life, although that too. In my case, that too, because there were some moments. But it's talking about like choosing the positive, choosing to do the hard thing, choosing to stand up when everybody else is sitting down, choosing to be the difference, right? Those choices, those resilient choices, because really pick the choices in those moments of, are you going to be resilient or are you going to fall flat on your face? And those are the hard choices. Those are definitely the hard choices. But we were given free will. Again, by whatever you believe. I obviously am a Christian. I believe God gave us free will. I'm not arguing with anyone, but however it happened, we have free will. We are free to decide what we want to do with ourselves, what we want to do with our lives, who we want to be, what we want to become. Do we want to heal from our emotional trauma, or don't we? Right? And my mission, my goal has always been in life to help people reach their full potential. I was trying to do it as a teacher. Thing is, academia is very limiting. And now it's very freeing. That's another different topic, but it's a very different freeing thing to be able to help people just realize their best selves is their most authentic selves. I guess I did that in the classroom. I don't know, some of my former students can tell you, but really in life is where I always just try to do it. Like, the world's a classroom, basically. And we're all failing. No, I'm just kidding. We're not all failing. But we are all learning and we are all growing, whether we want to or not. And we are being tested, whether we want it or not. So, back to free will. We have free will. And we are free to decide what we want to do with it. And that free will is necessary because it means when we choose to love, we choose to love. I chose you. I chose this person, right? And when we choose to do something wrong, that's on us too. Again, accountability next week goes hand in hand. So make the choices that make you your best self. How do we do that? What do we do? Well, 1, choose you. First thing you need to do is choose you. Choose yourself. Choose the things that make you happy. Again, you have to have self-worth to make these choices, because when we don't have self-worth, we compromise, we sacrifice, we don't hold high to standards, right? So when you choose, let's say you're at a party, your moral compass, your self-worth says, I don't really want to smoke. I don't want anything to do with smoking. This is like the peer pressure talk, right? It is hard to say no when everybody's around. And there's again, so many talks for so many days, but there is a level of, not conforming, but there's a level of social acceptance that does need to happen. It's never too good to be so rigid and inflexible. You should meet people because we're in relationship. It's what we do. But you can't be in relationship with anyone if you're continually sacrificing and losing yourself in that relationship. I have done that. That is a fair amount, more than I should have. And you lose yourself. You lose who you are. You lose your values. You lose your worth. A, you never had it. Or B, you're just giving it away because you're doing all these things that you shouldn't be doing, right? And by that, I mean the things that go against your own moral compass. So you have to choose who you want to be. You have to choose what you value. You have to choose, for me, what do I value, right? I value respect. I always want to be respectful. I just always have. I always do. I think I said it on the first video, just be respectful. There's no need for disrespect in this world. Unintentionally, people do things, it happens. But there is no need for disrespect like that. So for me, I always value respect. It's a two-way street. I guess that's my mom too, right? My mom always did that. It's a two-way street, but I'm going to give it to you freely. You don't have to earn my respect. I'm just giving it to you. You can lose my respect, but you don't need to earn it because I'm going to give it to you. I stand for kindness. I value kindness. I like people who are kind. I like being kind. I don't think it is cool to be rude to people. I don't think it is nice to be rude to people. And I think that kindness is the best currency. I also think that things that I value education. Always will. I value being knowledgeable. And it's not just a knowledgeable of books, although I like books. It's a knowledge of self. It's a knowledge of others. It's a knowledge of growth. It's a knowledge of just, I guess, people, just I always want to grow, always want to be a better self. Like, if you're changing, if you're static, if you're flat, what are you doing with yourself, right? These are just things I value, right? So really ask yourself, what do you value? Because if you don't know what you value, nobody cares what you value. No one's going to do anything about what you value if you don't hold to it. So make some choices to figure out what it is that you value. That's definitely number one. And then you have to choose to stand up for those values when people try. Like, do you value your time? Right. We give it away. I know I didn't value my time. I gave my time to whoever needed it because I was trying to, be accepted, feel worthy. Last week, I was trying to just prove my worth and my accomplishments. So I was running around all the time like a chicken with her head cut off. And it left me no time for me. I was trying to pour out of an empty cup. This is a big thing in our generation that we're kind of becoming aware of, is that we're strapped for time. We are strapped for money. We are strapped for all these resources. And it's not really fun. We don't really like it. It's why we have such an influx of solopreneurs. We like our time. We like our space. We like people too. We have social media. We have hangouts. We have things that we do. So you have to kind of figure out what it is that you value. Choose your values. Well, 1, choose yourself, actually. 2, choose your values. And 3, choose to uphold those values because people are going to come against them. And yeah, that's kind of saying no when you don't want to say yes. It's kind of having uncomfortable conversations when you don't want to have them. But more than that, it's just about knowing what you stand for. It's just that simple. Like, what do you stand for? And if you don't know what you stand for, then what you'll fall for is everything. I'm not the first to say that. I won't be the last to say that. But if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And there's a lot of stuff out there to fall for. I mean, scams and stuff, but more than that, people who are trying to sell truth as lies, people who are trying to scam you to get what they want, people who are acting sincere and really aren't. And if you don't take that accountability, getting ahead of yourself and of your time and of your space and of your energy, everyone will take that from you. People will always take what you will give them. And if you don't have values, you don't have standards, you'll give away everything. And you will lose everything. I wonder how I know that. Oh, been there, done that, not fun. Which is why it is my mission to help anybody else, whomsoever wants to hear this knowledge, take it. And I hope it helps you. I can't do it for you. You have to choose to grow. That's the point of this ministry of encouragement, I think. Joyce Meyer said, have a ministry of encouragement. And I love that. So I just think Seasons and Signs is a ministry of encouragement because we all need it. We all need someone. We all need something. So, yeah, choose you. Choose your values. Choose to stick to them. And if you like what's going on here, choose to keep coming back because I'll be dropping some life chat on you all the time, as you well know. See you on the Instagram tomorrow. See you on the blog on Wednesday. But, yeah, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, and again, this isn't a selfish choose you. It's just a balanced choose you. So things that, if you don't know what you value, think about time, energy, money, friends, family, work, God, kindness, respect, truth, honesty. I mean, and if you do value any of those things, hold to them. If you value truth, don't lie. Hold yourself to that, right? I know, it's so easier said than done. But it's just once you make a choice, it's just that emphatic sticking to that choice, which we don't always do. I don't always do. No one always does, I guess, right? We're human. But it's about being aware of it more than anything else, because we'll take the test again. If we fail the test, we will take it again. Guarantee that. So if you have the chance, if your value is truth and you have the chance to tell the truth and you don't, you white lie, you lie by omission, you flat out lie, you're gonna get another opportunity. First off, it'll come out. It always does. You know this. Anything that happens in the dark will come out in the light, 100%. But 2, it'll happen again. Another chance for you to tell the truth. And what are you gonna do? Choose which one you're gonna do, right? And the choices aren't obvious. So you have to really pay attention to how you're feeling. Like, sitting here with a choice, I'm really uncomfortable and I want to say no. Why do we say yes? We compromise our values. We're choosing to give someone else power over us, and we're choosing to compromise our values. So, okay, last time, because I'm signing off. Like I said, I want to keep it in between 15-20 minutes. Choose you, choose your values, and choose to stick to them. And I will see you next week.